Didn't they get not harm and sang I couldn't fabula go yet. Pawun who champagne Buddha Dagadu ye. Say on second illusion. Dr. Wincy to Dr. Sulahan meet Asu Chan Windema to my Dr. Sulahan yet Winnie jump you beetle. Tinenya Hoja Meteado growth mindset ne Mudita. Growth mindset ka English ne Badam Jantana. English ne Badam Jantana. Do that say ne Satan. Say ne the water. Eraka a now die psychology. Today now, anyhow go Buddha Diaro Mudita ne Sasabido. Pomo Yada a chain lema Shimpyama. But the maso no. Do the same say has a growth mindset a jam. Video clip Naku a yenchimam. A yenchimam, but the Madaguaro. At the video clip the growth mindset go. Take a nip on tones a lot. 2 days not load lare. Stanford take a do Pamoka to the Carol drag yet. Lecture a do labor. Lecture duly. I tell my two Jora row. Siaka, John Dago, comment Pedenia, my website. Me baga, Tadamigo, comment Pedenia, my website, so many website. Maho in Lebe, Ataka Ayashika, Auga Ayashiko, comment Pedeka website. Oh, my John Daga. To think chat dread day, Drellomia do. I have go. Mamma move Jordan, Mamma de bulu, Jora, I naku acquired. Mati bulu Joran, and Mati de bulu Jor, I naku quad. Mamma bulu Joyen. Tickaliga, Beroma Mamma no usure. Solo chep mu, implication mu. Be a yacht. Mamma de bulu joy no. No, Tickaliga, man 9 day, so that sit 9 chill go up when her. At John Duga growth mindset and fixed mindset, growth mindset. Oh, Tinaku Quara, growth mindset Sodaro. Pomot no ye. A tinya. Nyan Swanyi. Yan Swanyi ka Muigrea to a bone de Pilla Mahopu look to a use at growth mindset. Did have Bogo count on low 9? Low 9 Swanley Shija Yonjida and a growth mindset. Fixed mindset are Elomayonju. Muigrea Yangauna Lua Muigra to Kaunara, Macaunula Muigrea Macamu. At Pama Pin Lomiazu, again no at Tepambian Shendi, use had a bones and you. Damn it, a cook. Tepambian Elu Miusaro. And I got growth myself at a Samai Carol Draco and Pure. I now buy Maro to Pure Haku. Praise Suraka, Kalidio Babsipsi, Aulang Dario Babsipsi, Chinim Babsipsi, Mudida Buareka, to Pioraro, Chimonekama, Pelunia Muma. Andre Psitate, Mudida Andre. Pelonium Yuma Charo. A Jew, Bobiropsitone, Sorehago. A Stanford Gabe. Professor Andrew Schuberman, to Jorehago, Pomompia. And so this evening we are gathered here to celebrate the birthday of Dr. Sulahan. And together with her beloved husband, Dr. Wincy, they are the donor of our hospital in Downji, in our campus. We just opened it last year. It's functioning and it's a very busy clinic. It's a free clinic for everybody. This evening, what I'd like to present to you, first, of course, as birthday gift to Dr. Sulahan and to everybody who is here, is about the growth mindset, which is what shall we say, a far-reaching research in this 21st century psychology. Is by Professor Carol Dweck from Stanford University. She has been working on this for about 30 years, but her first book on this was published in 2006, and this is an updated edition published in 2017. I would like to integrate that growth mindset theory with a Buddhist meditation for emotional upliftment, for emotional welfare and well-being. And we have quite a few, but what I usually focus on is called appreciation. We appreciate what we do. We appreciate the journey we have gone through. We appreciate the achievement we have had. Because usually we don't do that. We give more time, we dedicate more of our times to upsetting things that upset us. Not so much to the things that would help us rejoice and become happy. If you receive a cheering message, maybe on any social application, you would read it, that would cheer you up, but just for a short while. On the other hand, if you receive a very upsetting news, that news will occupy your mind the whole day. In science, we call this negativity bias. Our mind is biased towards negativity because we have to be aware of dangers. If we are not, sometime we may not get a second chance. Because of that, our forefathers, they had to pay more attention to dangers. Living in those days with more wild animals and a smaller population, we could imagine. But today, the danger is mostly mind-made. It's something that we multiply in our mind. So, in the Buddhist tradition, we use the word mudita, we use the word anumodana, we use the word piti. All those are meditation practice to help us to focus on something good and to cheer ourselves. At the end, my third video clip, I'm going to show you 3 video clips by 3 scientists. The last one would tell us that if we give time to something joyful, something pleasant, we absorb it, later that would replace negative attitude or knee-jerk reaction that we sometimes have. So it's all about practice. But first, growth mindset. Growth mindset, as Professor Carol Dweck presents, has its opposite, growth mindset and fixed mindset. They differ in the belief. Growth mindset believes that our intelligence can be developed. It's not static. On the other hand, fixed mindset, as the word indicates, believes that our intelligence is fixed. If you are born intelligent, you will remain smart throughout your life. If you are born with less intelligence, you will look stupid all your life. That's how fixed mindsets believe. In other words, growth mindset believes in effort. Fixed mindset believes in maybe your past karma, or maybe in creation. Everything is fixed like that. One thing interesting about growth mindset is, we are going to see in this short video clip, Professor Dweck would present it as the power of yet. Yet means Y-E-T, yet. If you give your student, okay, not good, okay, you give that comment, you give that mark. And the other possibility is you give not good yet. You just put yet. The difference is in those 3 syllables, Y-E-T, yet. But in psychology, there's a big difference between them. A huge difference. When you say, I don't know, that means you almost put a big full stop that you won't know this. You won't have any opportunity to know this. But when you say, I don't know it yet, that means you still have a belief, a firm belief that you can know it. You believe in your potential. You believe in your hard work. Given hard work, the right technique, the right support, you think you will know it. So in Professor Carol Dweck's term, I don't know yet belongs to growth mindset. I don't know belongs to fixed mindset. So if you tell your children, you're not good, then you look at them with a fixed mindset. If you say, you're not good in this yet, you're not good yet, just put the word yet. Meaning, you believe they can become better. That's growth mindset. So let's have a look at this video clip. พูดจากอะไรนะ
Thank you. Today, I want to tell you about the power of yet. I learned of a high school in Chicago where students had to pass 84 units to graduate. And if they didn't pass, they got the grade not yet. I thought, isn't that wonderful? Because if you fail, you're nowhere. But if you get the grade not yet, you're on a learning curve. Not yet gave them a path into the future. And not yet also helped me understand a critical experience early in my career. To figure out how kids coped with challenge, I gave 10-year-olds some problems that were a little too difficult for them. Some of them reacted in a shockingly positive way. They said things like, I love a challenge, or I was hoping this would be informative. They understood that their abilities could grow through their hard work. They had what I call a growth mindset. But other children, for them it was tragic, catastrophic. From their more fixed mindset perspective, their core intelligence had been tested and devastated. Instead of the power of yet, they were gripped by the tyranny of now. So, what did they do next? In one study, after a failure on a test, they said they'd cheat next time instead of study more. In another study, they found someone who did worse than they did so they could feel better. And in many studies, we found they run from difficulty. Let's look at how that looks in the brain. Mosher and his colleagues measured from the brain as kids encountered errors. Processing the error shows up in red. If you look at the fixed mindset brain on the left, nothing is happening. But if you look at the growth mindset brain on the right, it's on fire with yet. They're processing the error deeply, learning from it, and correcting it. So, how are we raising our kids? Are we raising them for now or for yet? Are they focused on the next A or test score instead of dreaming big, instead of thinking about what they want to be and how they want to contribute to society? And if they are too focused on A's and test scores, are they going to carry this with them into the future? Maybe because many employers are coming to me and saying, we've already created a generation of young workers who can't get through the day without an award. So, what can we do? How can we build that bridge to yet? First, we can praise wisely. Our research shows that when we praise kids for the process they engage in, their hard work, their strategies, their focus, their perseverance, they learn that challenge seeking, they learn that resilience. Praising talent, praising intelligence makes them vulnerable. There are other ways of rewarding yet. We teamed up with game scientists at the University of Washington to create a math game, Brain Points. The typical math game rewards right answers right now, but not brain points. We rewarded process and the learning curve, so effort, strategy, and progress. The Brain Points game created more sustained learning and greater perseverance than the standard game. And just the words yet and not yet after a student has a setback, we're finding creates greater confidence and greater persistence. We also can change students' mindsets directly. In one study, we taught students that every time they pushed out of their comfort zone to learn something really, really hard and they stuck to it, the neurons in their brain could form new, stronger connections, and over time, they could become smarter. Those who learned this lesson showed a sharp increase in their grades. Those who did not showed a decrease. We have done this with thousands of students now across the country with similar results, especially for struggling students. So let's talk about equality. In our country, there are groups of kids who chronically show poor performance, and many people think that's inevitable. But when educators create growth mindset environments steeped in yet, equality can happen. Let me just give you a few small examples. One teacher took her Harlem kindergarten class, many of whom could not hold a pencil for the first month, through daily tantrums. She took them to the 95th percentile on the National Achievement Test. that same teacher took a 4th grade class in the South Bronx, way behind. She took them to the top of New York State on the state math test. That teacher is a Stanford grad, and she's here today. And another Stanford grad, a PhD student, Stephanie Freiberg, now a professor, went back to her Native American reservation in the state of Washington. She transformed the elementary school in terms of a growth mindset. That school had always been at the bottom of the district, at the bottom of the state. Within a year to a year and a half, the kindergartners and 1st graders were at the top of the district in reading and reading readiness. That district contained affluent sections of Seattle, so the reservation kids outdid the Microsoft kids. And they did it because learning a growth mindset transformed the meaning of effort and difficulty. It used to mean they were dumb, and now it means they had a chance to get smarter. Difficulty just meant not yet. Last year, I got a letter from a 13-year-old boy. He said, "Dear Professor Dweck, I read your book already." I like the fact that it was based on sound scientific research. That's why I decided to test out your growth mindset principles in 3 areas of my life. As a result, I'm earning higher grades. I have a better relationship with my parents. I have a better relationship with the other kids at school. I realize I've wasted most of my life. Let's not waste any more lives, because the more we know that basic human abilities can be grown, the more it becomes a basic human right for kids, all adults, to live in environments that create that growth, to live in environments filled, overflowing with yet. Thank you.
နံပါတ်1မပြတော့เนาะခဏနေချနံပါတ်3ပြမယ်ဒီအားလေးကဘာပြောတာတော့ဆိုဒီဆီယာမရဲ့ Stanford ဒီကမပြတော့ဒီကမပြ Stanford တက္ကသိုလ်ကစေတဗေဒ psychology ဘာမောက္ခရေးပါသူရှီကာဂိုသူအတန်းကျောင်းမှာတော့မအောင်သေးတဲ့လူတွေကိုကြားတယ်လို့ကျောင်းကမရေးဘူးကြားတယ်လို့ဆိုပြီးတော့အဲ့ဒီတို့ရဲ့မှတ်တမ်းထဲမှာမရေးဘူးပေါ့ဘာပဲရေးတော့ဆိုတော့ not yet ဆိုတာမအောင်သေးဘူးလို့ပဲပြောတာမရသေးဘူးမအောင်သေးဘူးအဲ့လိုပဲကြားတယ်လို့ပြောရင်စစ်တဲ့ကြားတော့အောင်တဲ့လူကတော့အောင်သွားတယ်မအောင်သေးတဲ့လူသူကမအောင်သေးဘူးလို့ပဲပြောတယ်အောင်နိုင်တယ်ဆိုတဲ့အဓိပ္ပာယ်မျိုးအဲ့လမ်းကိုဖွင့်ထားတယ်အဲ့တော့နောက်ပိုင်းသူတွေနာလောက်လာတဲ့ခါမှာသူတွေ့ရတာကတော့ဒီနှစ်ခုဟာ mindset မှာကွာနေတယ်တဲ့စိတ်နဲ့စိတ်ထားမှာကွာနေဆိုပိုင်းကဘုံပြောသွားသလိုလူတယောက်သူအထူးခုလုပ်တယ်မှာစာမွေးဖြည့်တယ်တင်ချာဖြည့်တယ်တင်ချာမရဘူးမအောင်ဘူးတတ်မှတ်ထားတဲ့အမှတ်မရအောင်ဆိုရင်သူ့ကိုကြားတယ်မရဘူးဆိုပြီးတော့အတိအကျပြောတာထက်မရသေးဘူးလို့ပြောရင်သူ့မှာအားရှိသေးတယ်အဲ့လိုပြောတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်မှလည်းပဲ mindset ကကွာတယ်အဲ့လိုပြောတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ကမရသေးဘူးလို့ပြောရင် သူရလိမ့်မယ်လို့မျှော်လင့်ချက်ထားသေးတယ်ပြီးရင်သူရနိုင်တယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့လမ်းဖွင့်ပေးတာမရဘူးလို့အတိအကျပြောလိုက်ရင်အဲ့ဒါ fixed mindset လို့ခေါ်တယ်ဒီတဲ့ပို့ပြီးတော့မတိုးတက်နိုင်ကြိုးစားလဲဘာမှမထူမွေးကြရဒီချောင်းသားကညံ့တယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့အဲ့လိုယုံကြည်လို့တဲ့အဲ့ဆရာကအဲ့လိုယုံကြည်လို့အဲ့မိဘကအဲ့လိုယုံကြည်လို့အဲ့ဒီအထက်ကလူကြီးကလည်းအဲ့လိုယုံကြည်လို့တဲ့အဲကြောင့်မလို့သူတို့လှုပ်တဲ့သူတွေနာတွေမှာဆိုရင်ကလေးတွေကို growth mindset ရှိအောင်ရှင်းပြခြင်းအပြင်ကလေးတွေသူတို့ရဲ့စိတ်နေသဘောထားပြောင်းလဲသွားရင်ငါတို့ကြိုးစားရင်ရတယ်ဘုန်းတော်မြန်မာစကားမှာကြိုးစားရင်ဖျားဖြစ်တယ်ကြိုးစားရင်ဖျားတော်ဖြစ်နေဆိုအဲ့ဒါ growth mindset ပဲဒါပေမဲ့ကိုအမားတကူလုံးမိတဲ့အခါမှာလေဟိုအဲ့ဒီစိတ်ထားမဝင်ဘူးကြိုးစားဖျားဖြစ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာမေ့နေကြဘုန်းတော်လည်းမေ့တာပဲကိုတခုခုမှားသွားရင်လေကိုအပြစ်တင်လို့မဆုံးဘူးဘာလို့အပြစ်တင်လို့မဆုံးဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒီအမားကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့တို့တွေဒီထက်ပို့ပြီးတော့ကောင်းတဲ့နေဒီထက်ပို့ပြီးတော့တော်နေနေဆိုတဲ့အခွင့်အလမ်းကိုဘုံတော့မေ့နေတဲ့အချိန်မှာငါဒီတစ်ခေါက်မှားသွားတာသူများငါအထင်သေးမှာပဲဆိုပြီးတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ image ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ပုံရိပ်သူများကိုဘယ်လိုကြည့်တယ်ဆိုတာအဲ့နေမှာကိုစိတ်ကရောက်သွားတာကျေရောက်သွားတယ်ဒါကြောင့်မို့လို့တဲ့ဒီဆရာမကြီးပြောတာအမားရှိလို့လုပ်ငန်းလုပ်တဲ့ခါမှာစာဖြည့်တဲ့ခါပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်အလုပ်လုပ်တဲ့ခါမှာပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်လိုအပ်တဲ့အဆင့်နဲ့မြုံမှန်းတဲ့အဆင့်တတ်မှတ်ထားတဲ့အဆင့်နဲ့မရသေးဘူးဆိုရင်အဲ့ဒီအမားကိုဒါမှမဟုတ်အဲ့ဒီချွေးချက်ကိုကဘယ်လိုကင်တွယ်တော့အဲ့ဒီနေရာမှာကင်တွယ်တဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်အနေနဲ့ growth mindset နဲ့ကင်တွယ်တာလား fixed mindset ကင်တွယ်တာလားအဲ့ဒါရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒါတွေမကဘူးအပြောခံရတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်နော်ဒီတစ်ခေါက်ဖြေတာမှန်းထားတဲ့အမတ်ဒါမှမမှန်းထားတဲ့အလုပ်ကိုကောင်းမွန်မလုပ်နိုင်သေးတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်သူကလည်းပဲကိုပြောတဲ့ပုံမှာမူတည်ပြီးတော့ the growth mindset ပဲသွားရင်လည်းသွားနိုင်တယ်မဟုတ်ရင် fixed mindset ပဲသွားရင်လည်းသွားနိုင်တယ် fixed mindset လည်းသွားတဲ့လူတွေကဘယ်လိုဖြစ်တတ်တော့တော်ပြီးတော့လေ fixed mindset ဖြစ်ရင်ခမရတော်လိုက်တာသားလေးကတော်လိုက်တာသမီးလေးကတော်လိုက်တာအဲ့လိုချီးမွမ်းခံရရင်ねသူများမျက်စိထဲမှာအမြဲတမ်းတော်အောင်ပဲသူ့ရဲ့ပုံရိပ်ကိုသူဂရုစိုက်တော်တယ်ဆိုလိုတာကငါဆိုတဲ့ပုံရိပ်သူဆွဲသွားတယ်ပေါ့ပါဠိလိုပြောရင်တော့ပပင်စတရားဆိုတာရှိတယ်မာနရဲ့ဒိဋ္ဌိရဲ့နော်မာနကနိုင်ရှင်တာဒီများတွေနိုင်ရှင်တာဒိဋ္ဌိကမှားရင်လည်းအမြဲတမ်းမှားလိမ့်မယ်မှန်လည်းအမြဲတမ်းမှန်လိမ့်မယ်ဆိုတဲ့မြဲတယ်ဆိုတဲ့အယူကိုယူဆတာမှားတဲ့ယူဆအဲ့ဒါဒိဋ္ဌိခေါ်တယ်တဏှာဆိုတာကတော့ကိုတိဆောက်ထားတဲ့အဲ့ဒီပုံရိပ်ကိုစွဲထားတာစွဲကင်ထားတာတဏှာမာနဒိဋ္ဌိအဲ့ဒါကိုပပင်စတရားလို့ခေါ်တာအဲ့ဒီအကြောင်းတော့နည်းနည်းရှည်လို့ခဏထားတော့ပြောချင်တာဘာပြောချင်တာတော့ဆိုဆရာမကြီးပြောတာ the power of yet ဆိုတာမရသေးဘူးမဖြစ်သေးဘူးအဲ့သေးဆိုတဲ့ဟာလေးထည့်လိုက်ရုံနဲ့ကိုအနာဂတ်ကိုအာယုံပြုလိုက်တယ် focus လုပ်လိုက်တယ်အနာဂတ်မှာရနိုင်တယ်အခုတော့မရသေးဘူးပြစ္ဆုတ်ပန်တဲ့ကိုပဲဘုံဘုံတော့ပြစ္ဆုတ်ပန်တဲ့မှာနေရမယ်ဆိုပြောတဲ့ခါကျတော့ဒီနေရာမှာကိုယ့်ရဲ့စိတ်က fixed mindset ထဲမှာနေရင်တော့ပြစ္ဆုတ်ပန်တဲ့မှာနေတာအန္တရာယ်ရှိတယ်လို့ဒီဆရာမကြီးကပြောတာနင်ကဒါလေးတော့မရဘူးလို့ तू လောလောဆယ်မရတဲ့ဟာကိုကြည့်လို့နင်ကဒါလေးတော့မရဘူးလားအဲ့လိုကိုကတော့ပြောမိတယ်အဲ့လိုပြောမဲ့စား ဒီတခါတော့မရသေးဘူးလို့ပြောရင်အနာဂတ်ကိုမျောပြီးတော့ကို comment ပေးတာပေါ့မရသေးဘူးလို့ပြောရင် growth mindset ရှိတယ်တဲ့ဒီလူဒီထက်ပိုပြီးတော့တိုးတက်နိုင်တယ်ဒီကလေးဒီထက်ပိုပြီးတော့တိုးတက်နိုင်လို့ကိုယူဆတယ်လို့အတိပ္ပယ်ရရှိတယ်ဒါဖြင့်ဒီ psychology မှာတော့ကလေးတွေကိုဘုံဘုံတို့ရှုပ်ချတာနှိမ်ချတာအဲ့ဒါမျိုးတော့မလုပ်ဖို့သူတို့ကအများကြီးပြောတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့သူတို့ကိုချီးမွမ်းတဲ့နေရာမှာဘုံဘုံစကားအနေနဲ့ဆိုရင်တော့ appreciate လုပ်တဲ့နေရာမှာပါဠိစကားနဲ့ဆိုရင်မုဒိတာလုပ်တဲ့နေရာမှာဆရာမကြီးပြောတော့ wisely ဆိုတာတတိပညာရှိရမယ်တော်လိုက်တာလို့သွားပြီးတော့သူတို့ရဲ့တော်မှုမတော်မှုကိုသွားပြီးချီးမွမ်းရင်သူတို့ကကိုယ့်ရဲ့ပုံရိပ်ကိုပို့ပြီးတော့အသားပေးတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဖြစ်သွားတယ်ဒါကြောင့်သူများရဲ့မျက်စိထဲမှာအမြဲတမ်းတော်တယ်လို့အထင်ခံရအောင်အမြင်ခံရအောင်သူတို့ကနှီးမျိုးစုံနဲ့ကြိုးစားတယ်တချို့ဆိုရင်ချစ်လို့တယ်ဆိုတာကလိမ့်လဲတယ်ကလေးတွေဆိုင်ဝဲဖြေတဲ့အခါဆိုရင်လည်းပဲလွယ်တဲ့မေးခွန်းတွေပဲရွေးဖြေတာခက်တဲ့မေးခွန်းတွေမရွေးတော့ဘာလို့ဆိုတော့သူများသူမတော်ဘူးလို့သူထင်ခံရမှာဆိုလို့ဒါဖြင့်လွယ်တဲ့မေးခွန်းကိုပဲရွေးပြီးတော့ဖြေရင်ရွေးပြီးတော့ကြည့်ရင်ဒီကလေးညံမတက်တော့ဘူးလေဘဝမှာလည်းပဲခက်ခဲတဲ့အရာတွေနဲ့တွေ့တဲ့အခါမှာဒီကလေးကပြင်ဆင်ထားတာမရှိတော့ဘူးအဲ့ကြမှာစံမွေးပွဲအကြကြီးကြမှာအရှုံးကြီးရှုံးမှာအဲ့ဒါဘာကြောင့်လဲဆို fixed mindset ဖြစ်လို့သူ့ကို fixed mindset တွေဖြစ်အောင်သူ့ရဲ့ဘေးပတ်ဝန်းကျင်ဖြစ်တဲ့မိဘနဲ့ဆရာသမားတွေကလည်းပဲအဲ့တဲ့ကိုတွန်းပို့လိုက်လို့ကလေးတွေကိုရောဒါမှမဟုတ်တချို့ကုမ္ပဏီသူတို့ Fortune 500 company ဆိုတာလေတကယ်ကိုကြီးမားတဲ့ company တွေ900လောက်သူတို့ကဒီ growth mindset ကိုအဲ့ company culture ထဲမှာထည့်တယ် HR ထဲမှာထည့်တယ်ပေါ့အဲ့ဒါဘယ်လိုထည့်တော့ဆိုတော်လိုက်တာလို့ပြောမဲ့စားဒီအလုပ်ကိုစပြီးတော့လုပ်တဲ့နေရာမှာအဲ့ process လေး point A နဲ့ပြီးတော့ point B ကိုဘယ်လိုရောက်အောင်သွားတယ် point C ကိုဘယ်လိုရောက်အောင်သွားဆိုရယ်ဒီဘုံတို့ appraisal လုပ်တဲ့အခါမှာအဲ့ process ကိုပို့ပြီးတော့အသာပေးတာတဲ့ဆိုလိုတာကကြိုးစားမှုဘယ်လိုကြိုးစားတယ်ဘယ်လိုပြဿနာကိုဘယ်လိုဖြေရှင်းတယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာအဓိကထားပြီးတော့ appreciate လုပ်တာချီးမွမ်းတာတဲ့မုဒိတာလုပ်တာတဲ့ဘုံဘုံချားဘူးတာဖတ်တော့မဖတ်သေးဘူးသူ့ကြောင့်လည်းတိတ်မဖတ်မိသေးဘူးတထေးဘေးကကသူအလုပ်လုပ်တဲ့အချိန်တော့ဝန်ထမ်းအသက်ငါဖို့သူ interview လုပ်တယ်ဆိုရင်တဲ့အဲ့ဒီဝန်ထမ်းဘာအမားတွေလုပ်ခဲ့မိတော့လှုပ်ဖူးတော့ဆိုသူအဲ့ဒါစိတ်ဝင်စားတယ်တဲ့ interview မှာမေးတယ်ဘာမှမမှားဘူးဆိုရင်မမှားဘူးဆိုရင်တော့အဲ့လူကိုသူသိစိတ်ဝင်စားလို့ပြောတယ်မှားဘူးတယ်အဲ့ဒါဆိုရင်သူစိတ်ဝင်စားပြီသူပို့ပြီးတော့စိတ်ဝင်စားတာကအဲ့ဒီအမားကိုဘယ်လိုကင်တွယ်ခဲ့တော့ဘယ်လိုဖြေရှင်းခဲ့တော့သူအဲ့မှာစိတ်ဝင်စားတာပဲအဲ့လိုလူတွေကိုသူအဓိကငားတယ်လို့ပြောတယ်အဓိကအလုပ်ပေးတယ်လို့ပြောပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်မို့လို့ဘုန်းတို့အောင်မြင်တဲ့ခါမှာပဲဖြစ်အောင်မြင်တဲ့ခါမှာပဲဖြစ်အမှားလုပ်တဲ့ခါမှာပဲဖြစ်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ growth mindset တိုးတက်စိတ်နေသဘောထားနဲ့ fixed mindset မတိုးတက်နိုင်ဘူးဆိုတဲ့စိတ်နေသဘောထားအဲ့ဒီနှစ်ခုကိုတတိထားပြီးတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ယုံကြည်မှုနဲ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့အပြောဆိုကိုတတိထားတဲ့နယ်လို့ဒီသူရိနာကဆိုတယ် so we have seen from the Professor Carol Dweck herself she explains it very well I don't need to repeat it what is interesting to me is that whether is the time we are successful or the time we make mistakes and so-called we fail. Okay. We can get into either growth mindset or fixed mindset. No one is permanently in growth mindset or in fixed mindset. Sometimes when we are successful, we look at that as if, okay, we were born with this ability and intelligence. Or if somebody has done a superb job, the way we give them comment indicate that we are in a fixed mindset, not in growth mindset. So we have to be careful about this, the distinction between these two mindsets. No matter whether we are having a good time or a bad time, successful or having a hard time. One thing that strikes me is that if we praise or if we appreciate, when we show appreciation, maybe we show appreciation towards ourselves or towards our colleagues, our students. She says we have to do that very wisely. Wisely means not focus on the end results, not intelligent praise, but effort praise. So two kinds of praise: intelligent praise and effort praise. Intelligent praise, oh, you are very smart, you are very intelligent. That's intelligent praise. That can lead somebody to assuming that they are naturally bright and they are smart people. So in order to maintain that image of being smart, they would choose to do things that would bring them easy success. For example, in the school, a student would choose only easy questions, not the difficult ones. But if you praise them for their effort, for going through a difficult process, for working out difficult answers, if we appreciate them or we praise them for that, those students or those staff or those colleagues, those people, those employees, they wouldn't shy away from difficulty. More often than not, those students, if given a choice, they would choose challenging questions, challenging tasks. If somebody deliberately chooses just easy questions and easy tasks, that person is not prepared for life, real situation. So this is growth mindset and fixed mindset. Fixed mindset. And now what is the Buddhist part, mudita? Here you can see that the growth mindset focuses on belief and how you see your own ability. Okay. But the Buddhist meditation of appreciation or mudita is about feeling, it's about emotion. And I like to say today that by working on this appreciation in as described in the Buddhist meditation manual, we can actually get to growth mindset, and we can overcome the addiction to self-image of being smart, being dumb, whatever. Okay, now let me before we talk about this Buddhist meditation, I'd like to show you one video clip from Dr. Rick Hanson from Berkeley. He doesn't use the word mudita, but he uses the word absorbing happiness, hardwiring happiness. He quotes one stanza from the Dhammapada Buddhist text. He's actually a Buddhist meditation teacher. So let's have a look at this. Hardwiring happiness.
Wow. So what I want to do here, if I could, is share with you a very simple yet powerful method grounded in neuroscience for turning passing experiences into lasting structure, useful structure inside our brain. In other words, turning experiences into the happiness or the resilience or the other inner strengths that we really want inside ourselves. I sort of stumbled on this method when I was in college, but to explain the context, I have to take you back a little before into my own up and down childhood. So I grew up in a loving home of good parents, intact family, but I was very, very young going through school. I have a late birthday and I skipped a grade, and that combined with my kind of shy and seriously dorky temperament, skinny, glasses, picked last for baseball, the whole thing. Well, what it led to were lots of experiences of being left out or put down by the other kids in school. Now, what happened to me was very small compared to, unfortunately, what happens to many, many other people. But we all have normal needs to feel cared for, to feel cared about. We're the most profoundly social species on the planet. As we evolved in the Serengeti, exile was a death sentence. Causes have effects. And if we don't get the supplies that we need, bit by bit, it's kind of like we're living on a thin soup. You can survive, you can make it, but there's a hollowness and emptiness inside. In my own case, hopefully this will work, yes, I ended up with lots of bad thoughts and feelings inside of me as a result. Then I went off to college, and I began to notice something really powerful and interesting. Some small good thing would happen. A girl would smile at me in the elevator. Some guy would throw me the football, an intramural football, and say, "Good catch, Henson." That was really good. Or guys would invite me to go out for pizza. Basic stuff of everyday life. And then I would have an experience, right? I would feel a little included, or a little wanted, a little appreciated. Then the question is, what would I do with that experience? If I dealt with it like I usually did, which was to kind of ignore it, let it pass along, I kept feeling lonely and inadequate. But I began to notice that if I did something different, if I stayed with it a dozen or so seconds in a row, it felt like something was gradually coming into me that was actually good. And I began feeling better and better and better and more confident. Any single time I did this, wasn't a mind-blowing moment. I had a few of those through other means. But the good things really did add up over time for me, definitely. And now, years later, many years later, as a neuropsychologist, I began to understand what I was actually doing. It wasn't just changing my mind. I was actually changing my brain. That's because, as the neuroscientists say, neurons that fire together wire together. Passing mental states become lasting neural traits. Bit by bit, I was actually weaving these resources into the fabric of my brain and therefore my life. There are many examples of the ways in which mental activity can change brain structure. For example, taxi cab drivers in London at the end of their training have a thicker brain in a key part called the hippocampus that does visual spatial memory. In a different kind of example, I don't know if anybody in here experiences stress, right, occasionally. Well, if we have the experience of stress, that releases cortisol in the body, it goes up into the brain. Cortisol gradually stimulates the alarm bell of the brain, the amygdala, so it rings more loudly and more quickly, and cortisol weakens. It actually kills neurons in the hippocampus, which besides doing visual spatial memory, calms down the amygdala and calms down stress altogether. So this mental experience of stress, especially if it's chronic and moderate to severe, gradually changes the structure of the brain, so we become progressively more sensitive to stress. All right. The mind can change the brain to change the mind. Knowing this is really valuable because the inner strengths, to go back to the beginning of my story here, the inner strengths that we all want, happiness, positive emotion, determination, feeling loved, confidence, the virtues, the executive functions, those are all built out of the brain. The question is how to actually get them into the brain. The interesting thing is that most of the wholesome qualities of mind and heart that help us cope with life, including coping with hard things, and have a lot inside ourselves to give to other people, most of those inner strengths are built from positive experiences of those strengths. If you want to feel more confident, for example, have more experiences of accomplishment or coping. If you want to have a more loving heart, practice more moments of compassion or kindness for others. The problem is that to get these experiences into our brain, we have to overcome the brain's hardwired negativity bias. This negativity bias means that the brain is very good at learning from bad experiences, but bad at learning from good ones. In other words, good experiences kind of bounce off the brain unless we do a little thing that I'm going to tell you about in a moment. Meanwhile, bad experiences sink right in. The reason for the negativity bias is that our ancestors had to pay a lot of attention to bad news, because if they survived it, they had to remember it forever, right? Once burned, twice shy. These days, we have ordinary experiences of this. Think about a relationship you're in, right, with someone you live with, work with, sleep with, whatever. Let's say 10 things happen in a day with that person. 5 of them are positive, 4 are neutral, 1 is negative. Which is the one we tend to think about as we go to sleep, right? That's why a lot of studies show that a good long-term relationship typically needs at least a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative interactions. That's a cautionary tale, right? All right. So that's the negativity bias. It creates a fundamental bottleneck in the brain that creates a weakness in both informal efforts and formal efforts to grow, to heal, to train ourselves in different ways. Whether you're a psychologist like me or a meditation teacher like me or a corporate trainer, a coach, a parent, I'm also a parent with my wife, or you're trying to help people in one way or another, we tend to be very good at activating positive mental states. But are we very good at helping people install them in the brain? I don't think so. There's been this long-standing assumption that if we just get a good thing going, somehow it will sink in. What can we do? We can learn to take in the good, to pop open this bottleneck in the brain, and gradually weave good experiences into the fabric of our brain and our life. So I thought we could actually do it here right now. Something experiential, all right? It is Marin County. I thought we could go for it. So we'll just try it right now. It's a little weird, a little artificial. Why not? All right, just go for it. So I'll take you through this kind of informally, then I'll explain what we just did. So if you could, bring to mind someone that you know cares about you. It could be a pet, could be a group of people, could be a person in your life, in your past. It doesn't really matter. What you're trying to do is have a good experience, a simple good experience of feeling cared about. You're trying to help the idea of this person or the image or a memory become a feeling. Okay, want to try? And then once you get it going, you're moving out of concept to experience. Stay with it. It's kind of a critical mass of time, a threshold. Things have to last long enough in our experience to transfer from short-term memory buffers to long-term storage, including emotional learning. And meanwhile, you could sense that this experience is going into you. You're absorbing it. It's sinking into you, feeling loved as you sink into it. A simple moment. 10, 20 seconds, usually won't change our life, but bit by bit, it can really make an enormous difference. I'd like to tell you the little steps of taking in the good. They're very simple. I even have a clever acronym that you can use to remember them. Our daughter thought of the last word in the acronym, very important, so I want to give her credit. So in the first step, have a good experience. We've got to activate it. We've got to get it going, right? The brain is like an old school cassette recorder. It records the music by playing it. We have to have an experience. In the second step, enrich the experience. Help install this activated mental state into your brain as a neural trait. Let it last, help it grow in your body, help it become increasingly intense. Give yourself over to it. And in the third step of taking in the good, absorb it. Sense and intend that it's sinking into you. This will prime memory systems. This will sensitize them so they'll be more efficient at encoding the experience into neural structure. And then, if you want to, the optional step is to link the positive experience with something negative. You got to be a little careful about this because you don't want to be hijacked by the negative. But if you can stay strong with the positive, it will gradually associate with the negative. Neurons that fire together wire together. And it'll go into the negative to soothe it, ease it, even gradually replace it. And you can use this step of taking in the good, where you're linking positive and negative, for yourselves or for children or for clients, students, or others you care about. You can use this method to heal old pain or neglect, whether in adulthood or childhood, even reaching down into young parts of yourself. To kind of sum it up here, we have 4 steps that become an acronym HEAL, H-E-A-L. It's an easy way to remember it. Have it, all right? Enrich the experience to begin installing it in your brain once it's activated in your mind. Absorb it, and if you like, link it, so it really becomes a part of you. Now, this may seem a little complicated. We all know how to take in the good. We all know how to help some good life lesson land, some good experience with other people. We know how to let these things land. In a nutshell, this whole thing boils down to, all my verbiage here, to 4 words. Have it and enjoy it, right? Especially enjoy it so it becomes a part of you. This is not about covering over negative truths, right? Paradoxically, the more we take in the good, we're more able to see the bad and do something about it. In fact, this is about taking control of the brain's Stone Age bias, right, in the 21st century, to excessively focus on the bad and over-worry about it, right? Any single time we do it isn't going to change our life, but the gradual accumulation, both in the flow of our day and at special times if we want to, like at meals or at nighttime before bed or after meditating or a workout, we can gradually build this up inside ourselves. I think of it as the law of little things, right? It's usually lots of little bad things that take us to a bad place. And it's lots of little good things that take us to a better one. There's a saying they have in Tibet. I think about it often. They say, if you take care of the minutes, the years will take care of themselves. I find that so hopeful, isn't it? Right? What's the most important minute in your life? It's the next one. Right? Can't do anything about the past. A few minutes into the future, we start losing a lot of influence. But the next minute is a phenomenal opportunity for us. Like me back in college, or any one of us today, or over the course of this evening, what will we do with the most important minute in our life? Right? And especially, what will we do with the good that's authentically available to us in it? Will we waste it, or will we, a few times a day, or even more, actually take it into ourselves? For me, there's a Buddhist saying that really speaks to the heart of the opportunity in the most important minute of our life. It goes like this: do not think lightly of good, saying, it will not come to me. Drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise one, gathering it little by little, fills oneself with good. So, may you and I and all beings everywhere, little by little, fill ourselves with good. So, thank you.
မုဒိတာတရားသင်တန်းလုပ်တဲ့အခါမှာဒီဗီဒီယိုကလစ်လေးဖုံဖုံပြနေကြပါစာအုပ်လည်းရှိပါအဲ့စာအုပ်ကနေပြီးတော့ပြောတာပါ Hardwiring happiness ဆိုတာသူရဲ့အဓိကဆိုလိုချက်ကတော့ကောင်းတာတွေကိုများများအချိန်ပေးပြီးတော့တွေးဖို့ပါပဲခဏနေကြရင်တော့9မိနစ်10မိနစ်လောက်မုဒိတာလုပ်တဲ့အခါမှာဒီတစ်ပတ်အတွင်းမှာကိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တဲ့အရာတရာတစ်ခုဂုဏ်ယူစရာအရာတစ်ခုဒီတစ်ပတ်အတွင်းမှာအဲ့ဒါလေးပြန်တွေးပါငါအကောင်းဆုံးလုပ်ခဲ့တယ်အဲ့ဒီကိစ္စလေးပြန်တွေးပြီးတော့ကိုယ်ကိုဂုဏ်ယူပါ ကိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တာကိုပြန်ပြီးတော့အတိမတ်ပြုပါဒီမုဒိတာကအုံနောက်ကိုတော့မှပြောင်းလဲစေဆိုတာဒီသူတွေနာတွေကပြောတယ်နော်အဲ့တော့ပုံမှန်ဆိုရင်လူသားတွေကပျော်ရွှင်မှုကိုရှာတတ်တယ်တဲ့ဒါပေမဲ့အဲ့ပျော်ရွှင်မှုကိုဒါရှိခံအောင်မထိန်သိမ့်တတ်ဘူးပျော်ရွှင်မှုတစ်ခုပြီးတစ်ခုကိုခံစားရရင်အဲ့ပျော်ရွှင်မှုကကိုယ့်ရဲ့အုံနောက်ထဲနှလုံးသားထဲမသိစိတ်ထဲစိတ်ဝင်သွားမယ်လို့အဲ့လိုအမှတ်မှားနေကြတာပေါ့အမှန်ကတော့အဲ့လိုမဟုတ်ဘူးတဲ့အဲ့လိုမဟုတ်ဘူးဒီဂုဏ်ယူစရာအရာတစ်ခုဒါမှမဟုတ်ပျော်ရွှင်စရာအရာတစ်ခုကောင်းတဲ့အရာတစ်ခုကိုမြန်မြန်လေးအချိန်ပေးပြီးတော့ခါနဲ့ပိုအချိန်ပေးပြီးတော့တွေးပေးပါသူအသုံးပြုစကားလုံး HEAL ဆိုရဲ heal က healing ကုသတာနော်စိတ်ကိုကုသတာစိတ်ဒဏ်ရာကိုကုသတာတယောက်နဲ့တယောက်ဆက်ဆံရေးအစမပြေဘူးဆိုရင်အဲ့ဆက်ဆံရေးကိုကုသတာဟုတ်ပဲအိုစုဒီပဲအိုစုဆက်ဆံစမပြေဘူးဆိုရင်အဲ့ဆက်ဆံကိုကုသတာကောင်းတာလေးတွေကိုမြင်အောင်ကြည့်ပေးဖို့ကြည့်ပေးပြီးရင်အဲ့ကောင်းတဲ့အရာလေးကိုနည်းနည်းလေးအချိန်ပေးပြီးတော့သူပြောတဲ့စကားတော့ absorb လုပ်တယ်ဆိုတာကတွေ့တဲ့သားတဲ့ရောက်အောင်အချိန်ပေးဖို့အဲ့ဒါကိုပဲဘာဝနာလို့ခေါ်တာဘာဝိတာဘဟုလိကတာပါဠိလိုဘဟုလိကတာဆိုတာအကျဉ်းချင်းပြုလုပ်တာကိုဘာဝနာလို့ခေါ်တာအင်္ဂလိပ်လိုပြောရင်တော့ repetition ပဲ you repeat something good the good experience you repeat that in your mind so this is the video clip that I often show in my mindfulness workshop just to show that we are biased towards negative information, negative events. We retain them for a long time. But when it comes to good experience, we have many of them throughout our life. Human beings are good creating good experiences, but not good retaining them. So this particular meditation is about retaining that. First, for ourselves individually. If we do that, as Professor Carol Dweck said earlier, we have confidence. If we have confidence, we wouldn't be carried away. We wouldn't get carried away by negative events. If we have confidence, we will find a way out. We wouldn't lose a big picture. So that's one point. Another point is that it changes our brain. If we focus more on negative things, the neuron in our brain associated with cortisol hormone, the amygdala part of the brain, they will get stronger, and not the executive brain, not the happy brain, not the happy neuron. Okay, that's for ourselves. But as far as this Buddhist meditation is concerned, this is only the first step. It has about 4 or 5 steps. We have to expand that to the people near and dear to us first. We have to deliberately think about the good thing in them. Their hard work, things that they do their best for, and show appreciation for the process of their hard work. If we do that, you can see our self-image. It's not that strong. It's not 100% focused on ourselves. Our attention is not 100% focused on ourselves because some of our attention is dedicated to our loved ones. So we become less self-centered. The self-image that could develop due to the fixed mindset is getting less and less. And if you extend connecting with the good things in your colleagues, in your neighbors, in the people you don't quite know well, then your ability to see good things, to stay positive, is getting stronger. And your self-centered attitude will become less and less. The real challenge, of course, comes when you have to look at positive things in the people you don't like, in the people who have opposite opinion to you, or the people who have hurt you, who have said negative things about you. You wouldn't feel inclined thinking, something nice about them. So you come across, that challenge. And that means you still take things personally. So in that sense, you need some healing. You need some healing. So what do is you come back, you forget that person first. You're not ready to focus on your opponents. So you should stay in the safe zone, in the comfort zone, focusing on yourself. How you have worked hard since you were young, up to where you are now. You strengthen your muscles, your emotional muscles, in the comfort zone. Yourself, your nearest and dearest one, your friends. You work on those things for quite some time. And then you extend, you have to extend it into the non-comfort zone, focusing on the people who don't like you or maybe who you don't like. Because they are the source of your negative emotion. You have to tackle that. You have to tackle that. If you don't tackle that, one area of your emotional welfare and well-being remains untackled, unresolved. So if we do this, we can only do this practice if we have growth mindset. And by doing that, if we focus on the people we have serious disagreement with, if we try to look at something nice about them, something positive about them, we are working on a difficult question. If we are a student, we are not shining away from challenging issues. So in that instant, this one can integrate with growth mindset. But growth mindset, as Professor Carol Dweck presented, focuses on belief and how you see yourself in self-development. But this appreciation exercise, appreciation habit that comes from Buddhist root, it can be secular, it can be practiced by anyone, or any creed, any belief, any status. But this one, this appreciation habit, focuses on emotion. If you like, it focuses on feeling. Of course, a Harvard professor, who teaches happiness at Harvard Business School, Professor Brooks, he would argue that happiness is not feeling. Happiness is actually, he would tell you, happiness has three components. It's about having a purpose, it's about having satisfaction, is about um, um, so having the right attitude. He would say that. But what he's trying to say, if I understand him correctly, it's not just a mere feeling. It has some accompanying component, such as having the right purpose and feeling satisfaction of what you are doing. And then when you look back, you can appreciate your own effort. So, something which is not in Professor Carol Dweck's research, and what I would like to add today is that this mudita or appreciative meditation can help us ground in growth mindset, and to do that in a natural way by starting from the EQ and not on the belief. With this, I'd like to invite you to practice with me for about, shall we say, about 6 minutes. 6 minutes. The first 2 minutes, you're going to focus on your work in the last week, in the last 7 days. Just focus on how you went through your work, how you did your best, and rejoice in that. Just appreciate the process of your work. Not so much the outcome. Of course, outcome has to be there. And the second thing is, appreciate somebody in your life, that you think important for you to be here at this stage in your life. Maybe your parents, your teacher, your mentor, your friend, anyone. Just choose one of them. The third one, okay, I want you to choose your colleagues, one of your colleagues. Maybe junior, maybe the same level, maybe slightly senior. Whatever, just trying to appreciate them. Of course, if you appreciate somebody, if you can appreciate somebody who you think is your rival, then you're getting there through highway. Okay, you're getting there quicker. So let's do this. Okay. တရားထိုင်အောင်เนาะ6မိနစ်လောက်တရားထိုင်မယ်မုဒိတပွားမယ်ပထမဆုံးဒီ9ရက်အတွင်းမှာကိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တာပြန်တွေးပါကိုဘာပဲလုပ်လို့ကိုအလုပ်ကိုပြန်ပြီးတော့တွေးပါပြန်တွေးပြီးငါအကောင်းဆုံးလုပ်ခဲ့တယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့ပြန်ပြီးတော့ကိုအတိမတ်ပြုပါကိုဂုဏ်ယူပါမွေးနေ့ရှင်ဒီမိုက်တော်ဆူလာဟန်ဆိုရင်ဒီတရားပွဲစီစဉ်တာပြန်တွေးပါအဲ့မှာကိုရဲ့ပုံမှန်လုပ်ငန်းလေးလုပ်ရတယ်နောက်ပြီးတော့လူအတိုင်းဝိုင်း society နော် social contribution အမျိုးသမီးentrepreneur တွေအတင်းထဲမှာလားအပပမှာတော့အဲ့ဒါတွေပြန်တွေးပြီးတော့အတိမပြုပါဒီတစ်ပတ်အတွင်းမှာကိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တာတနင်္လာနေ့နေပြီးတော့တောက်ကြနေ့စနေနေ့အထိ just trying to revisit your past week from Monday to Saturday. You have done your best. Sometimes you think things are too normal to rejoice in. No, everything can be special if you look at the process, because everything requires effort, mindfulness, dedication. Please don't compare yourself with anyone. The moment you start comparing yourself, you become self-conscious. You become conscious of self-image. Trying to visualize your past week. ဒီ9 ရက်အတွင်းမှာပြီးတဲ့9 ရက်အတွင်းမှာကိုလုပ်ခဲ့တဲ့အရာတွေမျက်စိထဲပဲမြင်အောင်ပြန်ကြည့်ပါဘာဒီကြိုးစားခဲ့တယ်ကိုကျမ်းမာရေးကိုဂရုစိုက်တာလားဒါသမီးတွေကိုစောင့်ရှောက်တာလားမိဘစောင့်ရှောက်တာလားလုပ်ငန်းခွင်မှာကြိုးစားတာလားပြီးရင်အခုတခါကိုဒီလိုဒီချိန်မှာကြိုးစားနိုင်အောင်ကိုဘဝမှာအရေးကြီးတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တူမိဘဖြစ်မယ်ဆရာသမားဖြစ်မယ်မိသားစုဝင်ဖြစ်မယ်တယောက်ရွေးပြီးတော့သူကိုအတိမတ်ပြုပေးပါသူရဲ့ကြိုးစားမှုအတိမတ်ပြုပေးပါNow focus on somebody important to you in your life. Look at how that person works hard. To make good of their potential, to build a good life. Now focus on one of your colleagues. You're expanding your appreciation ability outwards. Just choose somebody and try to see their hard work, their dedication, their good point. အခုတခါကိုယ့်ရဲ့လုပ်ဖို့ကံဘက်တယောက်ယောက်ဒါမှမဟုတ်တငယ်ချင်းတူဦးရဲ့ကြိုးစားမှုသူရဲ့အောင်မြင်မှုအဲ့ဒါလေးကိုအတိမတ်ပြုပေးပါဒီလိုအတိမတ်ပြုတဲ့အခါမှာတစ်ခါဘုန်းတို့ကစိတ်ထဲမှာလှိုက်လဲမရှိဘူးကိုကကြောက်စိတ်ဖြစ်နေလို့သူတို့ကိုအတိမတ်ပြုလိုက်ရင်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့အဆင့်တန်းကိုယ့်ရဲ့အနေထားကိုယ့်ရဲ့ဂုဏ်ပုဒ်ပဲရောကြသွားမလားအဲ့ဒီလိုစိုးရင်စိတ်ကြောက်စိတ်တွေဖြစ်တတ်တယ်အဲ့ကြောက်စိတ်လေးကို non-judgmental mindfulness အကောင်းဆုံးမဝေဖန်တဲ့တတိလေးနဲ့အတိမတ်ပြုပေးပါအကောင်းလည်းမပြောနဲ့အဆိုးလည်းမပြောနဲ့အဲကြောက်စိတ်ကိုကြောက်စိတ်လို့ပဲသိပေးလိုက်ဒါကြောက်စိတ်ပါလားဆိုသိပေးလိုက်เรากำลังเจริญมุทิตาครั้งแรกก็ตัวเองเสร็จแล้วก็คนที่สำคัญคนที่สนับสนุนเราในชีวิตของเราที่สามก็คืออาจจะเป็นเพื่อนก็ได้เพื่อนทำงานเพื่อนในชีวิตคือการยอมรับนั่นแหละมุทิตา appreciation การยอมรับที่เขามีความขยันขันแข็งที่เขามีความสำเร็จที่เขามีข้อดีIf you like, you can focus on people you meet on the street or you see on the street. You don't know them, and who live on this big road. They work hard to build their houses, to earn a living, to take care of their kids. Those people are not related to you. If you can see and see their life in that positive way and appreciate them, your appreciation ability is strengthened. Ko ne ba ma masai ne. လမ်းပေါ်အိမ်တွေဒီပြည်လမ်းဆိုရင်ဝဲရနှစ်ဖက်အိမ်တွေအများကြီးသူတို့လည်းကြိုးစားပြီးတော့ကြီးဆောက်ထားကြတာအဲ့ဒီလိုအတိမပြုတဲ့ appreciate လုပ်တယ်သူတို့ကို2စက္ကန့်3စက္ကန့်လောက်အချိန်ပေးတယ်ဆိုရင်နောက်ဆုံးကျတော့ကိုယ်အနောက်ပြောင်းသွားတယ်ဒီမုဒိတာမလုံနိုင်မချင်းဘာနဲ့တူတော့ဆိုတော့ကြိုးစားပြီးတော့ပိုက်ဆံရှာထားတယ်ဥပမာပြီးတော့ဓမင်းကောင်းဟင်းကောင်းတွေချက်ထားတယ်ချက်ပြီးတော့ခူးခတ်ပြီးပကံထဲမှာနော်စပွဲပေါ်မှာပကံထဲမှာထည့်ပြီးတော့စပွဲပေါ်မှာတင်ထားတယ်ကိုယ်လည်းအဲ့မှာထိုင်နေတယ်စပွဲမှာထိုင်နေဒါမဲ့မစားဘူးတယောက်ယောက်လာခွန့်ကြွေးတာကိုစောင့်တယ်လူအများစုအဲ့တိုင်းပဲတစ်သက်လုံးကြိုးစားကြတယ်ပညာတွေတတ်တယ်ဘွဲတွေအများကြီးရတယ်ဖိုက်ဆန်တွေအများကြီးရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့မပြောနိုင်ဘူးသူများလာပြီးတော့တော်လိုက်တာလှလိုက်တာချမ်းသာလိုက်တာကိုယ်မှရှိတဲ့အရာကိုသူများလာပြီးချီးမွမ်းတဲ့ခါကျမှကိုပီတိဖြစ်နိုင်ရင်ကိုဝန်းတာရင်ကိုချက်ထားတဲ့ကိုရဲ့ထမင်းဟင်းကိုသူများလာပြီးတော့ခွန့်ကြွေးတဲ့ခါကျမှစားတတ်တဲ့လူမျိုးလိုဖြစ်နေဒါကြောင့်ကိုယ့်အကိုစားပါကိုယ့်အကိုရှာထားချက်ထားခုခတ်ထားတာလေစားဖို့ပဲလိုတာဝိနေရှင်ဒီမိုက်တော်ဆူလာကိုကအစားအစင်သင်ဖြစ်နေတာနော်ခူးပြီးသားခတ်ပြီးသားကိုယ့်အကိုစားဖို့ပဲလိုတယ်သူများလာပြီးတော့ချီးမွမ်းတာကိုစောင့်ရင်သူများလာပြီးတော့ကိုယ်ထမင်းကိုပြန်ခွန့်ကြွေးတာကိုယ်ထမင်းကိုလာပြီးတော့ခွန့်ကြွေးတာကိုကစောင့်နေတာနဲ့တူတူပဲဒါကြောင့်မုဒိတာ မရှိမချင်းမုဒိတာနှလုံးသားမရှိမချင်းကိုပိုင်ဆိုင်တဲ့အရာကိုတကယ်မပိုင်ဆိုင်ဘူးအဆောင်အရှောက်တာပဲရှိပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်မလို့တရားနာပိတအားလုံး I'm going to wrap this evening up here so ဒါကြောင့်တရားနာပိတများအားလုံးတရားအလူရှင်တတဝင်းစီသူနဲ့တဆူလဟန်တို့အစားပြီးတော့တရားနာပိတများအားလုံးမုဒိတာအမြင်ဖြင့် growth mindset တိုးတက်စိတ်နေသဘောထားထဲမှာကြီးပွားတိုးတက်ပြီးတကားလားမိမိကိုယ်တိုင်လည်းပဲပျော်ရွှင်နိုင်ပါစေသူတစ်ပါးကိုလည်းပဲပျော်ရွှင်စေတဲ့ပါရမီရှင်များဖြစ်ကြပါစေကိုယ်တွင်ကိုယ်ပအိမ်တွင်အိမ်ပပြည်တွင်ပြည်ပကြည်ကြည်ပြန့်ပြန့်သာသနာပြုနိုင်ကြတဲ့ပါရမီရှင်များဖြစ်ကြပါစေ
Agenda number 3, time to offer the donation to support our Shan State Buddhism University, and secondly, to the consistently free offering Wind Clinic for Buddhism community. May I invite Sayadaw Kapia U Aomin, Sayadaw Assistant U Aomin, in front of the stage. And then I would like to invite Dr. Uwin Situ, Dr. Dorsula Han, and Tachi to Agawin, Tami Sumyamo, and Tange Kaung Agawin in front of the stage. Yeah. Firstly, the donation.
Naipanata Pisio Hodu Papaya
Dadu. Firstly, 10 million charts, donation will go to Priyati Tatama Pala Nuyadi Tindan, Priyati Tatama Pala Summer School. Secondly, the donation will go to SSBU Wind Clinic Foundation, 10 million chats. Chat Taintea Wind Clinic Address. Thirdly, big grandmother Dollar Yin and family will donate 2 million chats for Sayadaw. Dadu. U Aomin, could you please stay at the stage? I would like to invite Ko Aomin Han to the stage. This donation came from all the audience of Dhamma events. It is about 14 million plus chat. They are laser leading $6,500 US $300 ပါရှင် နိဗ္ဗာန်နဲ့တာ
ပစ္စယော
ပစ္စယော
ဟောတုပါဖယာ
ဟောတုပါဖျား
သာ
ဓု
သာ
ဓုသာဓုယနေ့တရားပွဲသို့လာတော့ခုနှစ်ရက်သားသမီးအပေါင်းဤအလှငွေဖြစ်ပါတယ်ရှင်144သိန်း6,500ကျပ်ဖြစ်ပါတယ် US ဒေါ်လာ300ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ရှင်သာဓုသာဓုသာဓု
ဆက်လက်ပြီးစီစဉ်လေးရတရားပွဲကြီးဖြစ်မြောက်ရေးအတွက်တရားပွဲမှာဒီလူရှင်မိသားစုများနဲ့ဝိုင်းဝန်းစုပေါင်းလူရန်ခဲ့ကြတဲ့အလူရှင်ပေါင်းတို့ရဲ့ကောင်းမှုကုသိုလ်ဝေယဝိဆကုသိုလ်စုစုတို့အတွက်ဆရာတော်ရှင်သူမြတ်မှရေစက်ချတရားချီးမြှင့်ပေးပါရန်ဂါရဝမင်္ဂလာဖြင့်ယူသေးစွာလျှောက်ထားအပ်ပါသည်ဖျား
Agenda number 4. We are sharing our good deeds to every living thing by pouring water and praying.
အကုန်လုံးလိုက်ဆိုကြနော်အရှင်ဘုရားဘုရားတပည့်တော်တို့သည်ကျောင်းတိုင်းကမကြီးဒေါက်တာဆုလဟန်ဤမွေးနေ့ကိုအကြောင်းပြု၍ဒေါက်တာဝင်းစီသူဒေါက်တာဆုလဟန်မိသားစုတို့မှကျင်းပအပ်သောဓမ္မသဘင်ကိုအကြောင်းပြု၍ဒါနကုသိုလ်သီလကုသိုလ်ဝေယဝိဆကုသိုလ်ဘာဝနာကုသိုလ်ဤကုသိုလ်ကောင်းမှုအဆုစုတို့ကိုမုဒိတာဖြင့်စီပူပါ၏ပွားများပါ၏ဤကုသိုလ်ကောင်းမှုအဆုစုကြောင့်ဖျားတပည့်တော်တို့သည်ဘေးကင်းရန်ကွာချမ်းသာချမ်းသာကြပါစေဘေးကင်းရန်ကွာချမ်းသာချမ်းသာကြပါစေကတ်ကြီးသုံးပါကျော်လွှားနိုင်ကြပါစေကတ်ကြီးသုံးပါကျော်လွှားနိုင်ကြပါစေကျူစားသမျှအောင်မြင်ကြပါစေကျူစားသမျှအောင်မြင်ကြပါစေကိုယ်တွင်ကိုယ်ပါအိမ်တွင်အိမ်ပါပြည်တွင်ပြည်ပါအစင်မြင့်မြင့်ကျေကျေပြန့်ပြန့်သာသနာပြုနိုင်ပါစေဤကုသိုလ်ကောင်းမှုဤအဖို့ပါကကိုယခုဘဝရှေရှေဘဝတော်စัจကြသောအမိအဖအဖို့အဖွာဆရာသမားဆွေမျိုးညာတကားအစထား၍၎င်းကိုယ်ဆောင်နှင့်အိမ်ဆောင်နှင့်မြို့ဆောင်နှင့်သာသနာတော်ဆောင်နှင့်နတ်မြတ်နတ်ကောင်းနတ်ပေါင်းတို့အားအစထား၍၎င်း30ပုံကျင်လဲကြကုန်သောဝိနည်းတတ္တဝါပေါင်းတို့အားအမြတ်အမြတ်ဘေးဝေငှပါ၏အမြတ်အမြတ်ဘေးဝေငှပါ၏အမြတ်ရ၍ကိုယ်စိတ်နှဖျားချမ်းချမ်းမာမာချမ်းချမ်းသာသာရှိကြပါစေသောကြာကြာသမျှအမြတ်အမြတ်